So here we go with the major arcana. We just talked about the choice card and symbolism, and there's more that can be found there as well. Just that sort of, I love this road of stars here that's going on, because choice drives us, right? It drives us forward. Our choices do. So I quite like that. Yeah, beautiful. Love that card. So then we have the child card. Now, I am not a huge fan of child cards. I don't know what it is about a lot of art, not literally child cards. Children in Oracle and Tarot decks, I don't know. I'm not usually a huge fan, but this gives that sense of innocence, the bright color, especially when you go from here to here. You really get that freshness and that lightness and that unhindered psyche there. That sort of the innocence of childhood, I think, shows up really beautifully here, and the light streaming in. And it just, it speaks to the child in us, right? The inner child. And like I said in the guidebook, she really does do a good job of saying, what if that's not your experience? When you think of childhood, this may not be the image you see. You may not have had a childhood that makes you think of love and light and connection with childhood. But the archetype of the child is that sense of innocence and wonder. And how do we get to the healing of ourselves so that we can utilize that archetype in our life moving forward is some of the stuff that she addresses in the guidebook, which I think is really powerful. So then here, so right now, we are in that first 8 cards, which is the sort of the stages of life. And here we do have, again, a very balanced gender-wise. We do have the male and female youth. So we have the maiden, which we definitely normally see as the maiden, mother, and crone. And then we have the youth as the male. Now, some of me, a little part of me says, does the female or the maiden need to be, flowery and skipping through the paths with her dress and her, the flowers and the bunny rabbits and butterflies, whereas the male looks like, he's going off on a journey and adventuresome and active energy there. Could that not have been swapped in some way? Because I like to think of that as being a female. But 2 things I really like, and this happens in many of her cards, where I feel like they're relatively gender neutral. Yes, on first, if you really think about it, this is probably reflective of a male, because you want the male and female. But the way that the hair is, just the features that she does, they're very, this is very feminine. But sometimes you have sort of a gender neutral, which I do like as well. Also, the important thing is a lot of people are uncomfortable with, for good reasons, the gender binary of masculine and feminine. I resonate pretty well with that binary because of Taoism and that idea of the yin and the yang energy. It is an energy binary that I do work well with. Geomancy, having that active and receptive energy. It's a binary that people understand and that makes sense. And she does a really good job of making it clear that these are all aspects that we have within ourselves. So in our youth, we have the maiden, no matter what our gender is, we have the maiden and the youth, right? We have that adventurer as well as the maiden energy. Well, let's just see what and I know this one, I'm not going to talk about how long it's going to be, because it's going to be as long as it's going to be. Fertility, independence, self-esteem, confidence, self-expression, self-exploration, self-interest, sexuality, creativity, selfishness, when we start to get to blockages, codependency, and timidity, being timid. Can't apparently say that word. When we go to the youth, we have adventure, new horizons, excitement, independence, freedom, rebellion, impulsiveness, loyalty, compromise. Again, some blockages in there. So it's you've got both those energies, and both of those energies are found in us, whether we're male or female. So there is a lot of masculine and feminine binary in this deck. that's something I work well with. Some people not so much. But I do feel like she does an amazing job at keeping that really balanced, and I personally appreciate that. So, so there we have the maiden and the youth, the masculine and feminine binary there. Then we have the gorgeous mother, who is, I mean, we can't help but say, you know, this is Mother Earth. This is, she's even pregnant. This is the Empress energy. And then we have the Emperor energy as well here as that binary. We had the maiden, mother, and crone, and we have the father, the sage, and what's the last? Oh, no, it would be the youth, the father, and the sage for the masculine. So I love that we have the triad, because I work with triads very well. I really love the maiden, mother, and crone, and I love that we have the masculine triad built in as well. So we definitely have the emperor and empress energy here in the father and the mother. Love the Celtic motifs here. Obviously, I am definitely into sort of that pagan, Celtic pagan path is definitely strong for me, so that's a huge plus for me. I love the stones with the carvings in it. I love the turtle here. We have the like a leopard or panther, not panther, a leopard of some kind back here. They're both sitting on thrones. So we have the horned, also the lady and the lord pagan concept you can clearly see here. So there's a lot that you can, different types of archetypes that you can sink into with these two cards. And then we have the crone. I don't know if you can see this, but I really love this little girl that's here looking up at the stars. I think that that is amazing. I'm not 100% sure. Like, it means a lot of things to me. That speaks to me of myself. And the crone energy with the crow here, very powerful. Absolutely love it. And then we have the sage with the wolf, which, you know, wolves are really powerful. And I love that we see the wolf also, because here we see the girl, but we also see the, looks like a wolf or a dog perhaps with the youth here. So I quite like that showing up there. I'm trying to see, do we see, no. There's not a crow in the mother, but beautiful. Look at him. I mean, he's gorgeous. And the owl here and the raven here. It's just, they're beautiful images of that wise person that we hope to become right after a series of time. And learning and knowledge and following this path and gaining wisdom. And then it culminates in the death and then rebirth. The cycle starts again, and we have the skulls here with the sort of the cosmic serpent here around the egg, which is a very archetypal image, and inside is a baby. And it's like, okay, now it's just going to start over. So you have that sense of reincarnation and rebirth, and I think it's absolutely stunning. Very powerful card. So let me zoom out here, because I really do want you to see sort of the scope of these. So we have choice that stands up above, right? And then we have this beginning where we have the journey here through the stages of life of the child. We have the maiden. We have the youth. Oops, I might have to go down a little bit. The maiden, the youth, the mother, the father, the crone, and the sage, right? And then we have the death and rebirth, where it comes kind of full circle. Not very centered here, but you get the idea. You can see that this follows the stages of life, and also with, you know, choice right above all of it, and sort of what would be over here an ending, but, you know, I'm going to pull it down here. And really kind of coincides with the beginning and the ending. It's just a cycle. It's a cyclical nature. It's not strictly linear. And so I think that that's really beautiful. So that's the first, well, this is the first actual grouping, and then this is the second grouping of the stages of life. So then we'll continue on. I just wanted you to see how how beautifully that follows the stages of life. Now we are on to the next grouping, and the next grouping follows the reason for being. What is our reason? You know, that's the biggest question, right? I believe that oftentimes what religion and spiritual paths, the whole purpose of them is to figure out, you know, who are we? Where did we come from? Where are we going? What is our reasons for being in this world? So I think that that's an important thing to address. And so we have 8 cards reflecting what she sees as major reasons for being that goes here. And so first we have knowledge, the gathering of knowledge. I love sort of that magic in his hand. It's like he's learning. You have a little bit of a magician feel with this. And again, you know, I don't think that we need to find it, but it's interesting to see those because those are major archetypes, and so they're going to pop into our head. But that's what I kind of think of here. Again, her use of trees and knotwork and stones with things on them is very powerful, and it's something that I love in her artwork. We have the cauldron here, we have the book, and then we have him actually manifesting that in his almost like the third eye imagery here. It's just beautifully done. And then we have wisdom, because there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom, right? I love the sets of 2s that she has throughout the deck. And I love that we have, this is much more shamanistic. This is very hermity. I mean, how can we not see the hermit, right? We've got the staff, we've got the lantern, but we've got this bear cape over the top of him, which leads a very, for me, very Celtic shaman feel to it that I personally absolutely love. So that's a stunning card, but I love that we see this very clearly, that knowledge and wisdom, gorgeousness. Then we have a healing card, which is beautiful. We have sort of that healer with the snake around the staff. We have frogs here. All throughout here we've got frogs. To do with, I'm sure. See that, and that's one thing I would love to see, and maybe she does. Let's just check this one to see, because I'm sure, and it wouldn't be hard to look up what do frogs mean, right? But I know there's something I've read about that. So that's something I would look up, though, because there are 3 frogs on here. We also have the antlers here. We have the pentagram, that sense of everything having to be in balance, the 4 elements plus spirit needing to be in balance for healing and that kind of thing. So this is beautiful. I think it's a great image of a healer. And then we have the love card. Now this has both a love and a union card. So that's quite interesting. And when you look at her explanation of the breakdown of the deck, when she looks at our experience, the reasons for being, to experience love in it all its to experience love in all its form, and to experience healing and unity. So while we see that sort of lover's look of the 2 here, it's sort of, let's take a look at the keywords. They're not the same thing. And I quite like that, but you can see the combination. Oops, this presence of love. Love, infatuation, love for self, confidence, love for life, expansion, experiencing love in all forms. And she talks about it. The 4th reason for being is to experience love in all its forms, from codependent and need-based love to big, unconditional, universal love, and to understand that love comes in many different forms and guises. And she goes on to talk about that. So that was what we have in the love card, whereas in the union card, we have more of that idea of the what I consider the lover's card, that marriage, that unity, that connection, that aligning yourself. And I really like, because I use that, I love that energy of aligning ourselves so that the conscious, the subconscious, the higher conscious, everything is in balance. And that unity is really expressed here. And so that's an energy I'm very happy to see show up in this deck. Look at this gorgeousness. Gorgeousness, gorgeousness. So here we have the self card. I mean, this is a beautiful self card. This is the I am card. And it talks about this being the 6th reason for being. And it signifies the importance of establishing a unique and individual identity that is free of definitions and labels and embraces unlimited potential. But look at how gorgeous. It's got the dragons. It's got 3 doves. It's got a butterfly. It's got blue roses. We've got the meditation pose, and we've got these 3 points of energy kind of manifesting. I think it's gorgeous. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. I love that card. That's the 14th card. Now, the 24th card is mislabeled the 14th card, but Blue Angel, well, I'll talk about when I get to it, but Blue Angel will replace that for you. That's a stunning card. So far, probably my favorite card, just image-wise and even meaning-wise. Then we have the Abundance card, which is a state of plenty. It's what it means. We've got a gorgeous, she's known for her amazing, powerful dragons. Again, the Celtic knotwork. We've got the cornucopia full of fruits. We've got the bunny, that we've even got some coins down here, gold coins. It's just that sense of abundance that obviously we all try to work for in many ways. The Destiny card obviously is the image that is on the front of the box in the guidebook and is stunning. Stunning. I love the horns. I love what's the bells hanging from the horns, the feathers hanging from the horns, the presence of leaves and feathers. You sort of get in the little snakes. You do get a feeling to me of all of the elements there, even though it's not like super obvious, but I think it's stunning. This is personal destiny, universal destiny, seeking our answers. This is the 8th reason for being, which is to embrace your destiny, both your universal destiny and a personal destiny. Very gorgeous. Very, very gorgeous. So let's just, because I'm trying to make sure this is all, you can see the beauty of this system if you're on the fence about it. So for this one, we have where we're starting from knowledge and then gaining wisdom, the importance of healing, experiencing all forms of love, coming to a union and a balance and a harmony within the self, right? And then reaching that state of abundance, and that leads us, all of this helps to push us and drive us towards both our universal destiny as well as our personal destiny. So that is sort of the progression there that we see in the 3rd grouping of our reason for being in life, which is really, really powerful. And this is going into the influences. And so understanding that there are other, besides our own events that we're experiencing and such, there are 8 key elements that play a defining role in influencing us for better or for worse, she talks about. And so it starts, of course, with the journey card, that we are off on this beautiful journey. I love, see how we have 2 different types of cloaks here? We have 2 different pathways here. Stunning card. I think it's quite beautiful. Your life journey, your past is made up of choices, experiences, and moments that have shaped and created the person you are in the present. You are the sum total of all that you have experienced, and your journey and the person it has manifested plays a foundational role in every choice and decision that you make. Gorgeous card. Look at thought. Oh, how beautiful is that? Oh, that is a beautiful thought. That is a beautiful card. She talks about the, I'm not going to be able to say this, Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. We see that all the time. This simple statement expressed by René Descartes is a founding principle of Western philosophy. It means if one questions one's existence, the very act of doubting and then questioning is proof that one does indeed exist. I love that, because I was always taught, you know, in my fundamentalist upbringing that I've talked about recently with the self-love thing, that was one of the key squelching things for me, is that I always was questioning everything, and the act of questioning in a concrete, rigid belief system is considered to be bad. And so the very core of who I was, which was to think outside of the box and to think and question and break apart and rebuild, that very core essence of who I was considered to be a bad thing. You're simply supposed to blindly follow, and I'm not that kind of person. And so to have this expressed with this beautiful young girl is really powerful card for me personally. Gorgeous. Emotions, beautiful. We can see this light side of brightness and almost angelic, and this sadness here, because there's a whole gamut of emotions, right? It's not all just happiness. That's really powerful. It's the third of the 8 influences, represents the influence that our feelings and emotions have on our choices and decision. The key message of the emotions card is that feelings and emotions are neither good nor bad. All are necessary, and each and every emotion we experience has both a positive and negative element to its nature. Beautiful. Desire. So this is quite gorgeous. I love the red lotus here. What do we have? The eye here. We have sort of a hawk. We have a ram here. Looks like there's something else within that. I'm not sure what that is. I love, let's go back here. Desires, wants, dreams, ambition, goals, manifestation. To desire, to wish or long for something, to lust or crave To lust or crave is to desire. In simple terms, desire means to want something. Desire is the 4th influence on choice, and when it appears in your reading, it asks that you explore your desires. Ask what it is that you want and how much do you want it. What are you willing to do in order to achieve your desires? It also goes into talking about how is desire the root of all suffering, which you see in Buddhism. And she goes in, I'll be quite interesting to read through this whole thing, but quite powerful there. Perception. How does perception play on our choices? I mean, that's gorgeous. You get a very justicey cutting through, and how are we perceiving things? That idea of objectivity and clarity is in this particular card. Gorgeous. Love this intuition card. Look at that. Look at the spider web, because for me, I do believe in weird, and that idea of the web that connects everything, past, present, future, cross distances, choices and decisions we make influence all sorts of things. The butterfly effect kind of idea. I think that is just gorgeous. Signs, patterns, synchronicity, trust, mystery, magic. This is kind of, for me, it is sort of the moon card and the high priestess card, right? For me. Again, you might come up with something different. I love, back here we have, it looks like a cat perhaps, and we have an owl in her hand. It's really gorgeous. Love that card. Here we have integrity. This is quite interesting. We have the owl. Look. Look at the little owl from the messenger. I love it because I love that card. We have a snake. We have an owl. We have a beautiful leopard here. Waterfall in the background. And then we have obviously this beautiful voluptuous woman here, curvaceous. But it's interesting because I don't see integrity. Like most of the cards, I can see instantly the image with the title or the keyword here. The integrity card is the 8th of the end. It represents making choices and acting with honesty and honor. Integrity has many forms: personal integrity, professional, artistic integrity, intellectual integrity. To have sound personal integrity is to be of good character and nature, to be authentic, to not hide. So you can certainly see that with the nakedness. We can also see the non-hiding with the owl there that gets up and sees through clearly. This is one of the cards that I would love to see. And she seems to be great at answering questions. So this is one I may even shoot her a question and see if she answers it. Because I would love to see. I can see the nakedness, being open and honest in who you are. And so I can see that. I would just be curious as to her what this says about, the image itself says about integrity to her. Not that I at all disagree with it, I'm just very curious about it. So that's when I may just see, she might just answer. Oh, look at Faith. I love this card. I love the turtle, the world as a turtle. I love the wolf. Of course, I'm a wolf person. The heron here. It's just gorgeous. The lotus in her hand. Beautiful. Faith, self-belief, confidence, divine connection, trust, serenity, surrender. These are the key words. Gorgeous. And then that's the final card. Now, this card is labeled as 14. It's supposed to be 24 because there are 24 cards in this major arcana. But you can write Blue Angel and they will send you a new one, which I will be doing. But, you know, it's not anything to get too out of bent out of shape because they are replacing it. So let me roll back and just do the last sort of. So here we have heading off on the journey. Gorgeous thought card. Definitely one of my favorite cards personally. Beautiful emotions, desire, perception. All of these things influence our choices because, again, on top of all of this, I should have just left that up for all of them. All of this is how it impacts our choices. Beautiful intuition, another of my absolute favorite cards. Integrity, and then bringing us to faith, which just doesn't fit, right? But you can see that beautiful, how these things influence our choices, because we're thinking of everything and how is this influencing our choices. So that is the major arcana of this gorgeous deck. And other than wanting just to pick her brain about this particular card, they all make sense. They all have a beautiful flow to them, and I quite love them. I do indeed love this major arcana. So is it a traditional major arcana? No, it's not. But does it work? Yes. And does it function the same as the major arcana? And that's key. For me, it does function. It functions on that journey. It functions on that macrocosm. Slaughtering words today. It functions, I think, on the level of the major arcana. So I think while not traditional, it's going to be very workable. I'm extremely excited to work with this deck. Okay, I know this is a little disjointed on how I normally do walkthroughs, but I just want to make sure, because I think that I just want to make sure that this deck is really clear on how I'm seeing it in the structure. So first I'm just showing you the basic structure here. Is a balance card where you see sort of a balance between two things, a duality card almost, in what would be the page, just in terms of order. And then we have, so here it's heaven and earth. It's that balance between the grounding, as above, so below. Oh, love it. And then we have the seneschal, and I don't know if I pronounced that right, but that is a beautiful, because this is earth, this is physicality, this is that wise, not servant, but can be the servant in the older days, but the person that runs things, that can really get in and run all aspects of life, as sort of standing in next to and aiding the Queen and the King energy that we have here. Beautiful, beautiful. And so then if we look at the water, which is also receptive energy along with the earth, we have emotions and intellect, that balance between emotion and intellect. We have the counselor, because this is about emotions, right? And so we have the counselor aiding the Queen and the King of water, very merfolk people, right? Very water. You can just see now. I love that. That's another thing I love in tarot decks, to physically, color-wise, see the elements just really pop. And this really pops, doesn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Let me pull these out. I do want to kind of return to these in a second, but let's... So then here we have for air, we have the body and the mind. We have the scribe as that sort of helper energy there, which is perfect for air, which is thought and intellect, helping the gorgeous Queen of Air with the owl and the gorgeous King of Air with the eagle. Love that, love that, love that. King, I love that. Couldn't have been more perfect unless maybe there was a wolf in here somewhere, but perfect. I love the King and the Queen there. Oops, let me leave that. So this is active energy of air, and active energy of fire. We have masculine and feminine. And because this is the action suit, this is where we see our hero, which I think is much more along the lines of the night energy. And then we have the Queen and the King of fire. Again, you can just see the elements in these cards in an absolutely, in my opinion, stunning way. Yes, quite gorgeous. So of the ones that have changed, let me leave these out. So there we have body and mind, masculine, feminine. And then for what would be the night position, we have the hero, the scribe, the hero. We have the seneschal here, heaven and earth, emotion and intellect, and the counselor. So these are the cards that are different from the traditional court cards that we see, and I think they're stunning. So we see this body, mind, masculine, feminine, heaven and earth, emotion and intellect, and then as that guide or that helper, we have the scribe, the hero, the seneschal, and the counselor. I think that's really awesome, and I quite love these changes that were made. I think that it works really beautifully. Okay, here are the aces. I mean, of course, I'm a huge dragon lover, love dragons. I really love her dragons because they're very powerful and very magical at the same time. And you can see again that clear delineation of the elemental energy color-wise. So we have the gorgeous green of the earth, and they don't have names. They have these are very traditional symbols of these suits, and between that symbol and the coloration of them, I don't think anybody will have a difficult time quickly getting comfortable with what suit are we looking at. So here we have earth with this little tree sapling growing. I would love to, that may be another question, because the air suit is mine. Is this a symbol for something? If you know, let me know. If not, I'm going to probably email her asking her that too. I can see a heart, sort of a knotwork heart in the water for emotions, and a gorgeous infinity spider. And I love that too. I would really like to know the connection of the spider with the wands. I think it works gorgeously, but I'd like to know a little more about that if it's not in the guidebook. So I might have 3 questions for Miss Raven, and maybe she'll answer, and that would be really fantastic. But otherwise, just looking at these as a unifying whole, absolutely stunning. I have no complaints there whatsoever. Okay, so let's take a look now at the cards in sequence. So as I said, they are split up as you see in the elements, and there are the traditional 14 cards with those changes that we already talked about with the court cards. So here we have the ace, the 2, see her juggling the eggs. Look at how gorgeous she is. Gorgeous. Here for Earth, I have looked through these a little bit, so we do have a lot of that idea of sort of Pan, kind of the horned male creatures. Planting I love this, because the 3 is about growth. And so I love that we have him planting the acorn seeds, and we can see growth around him as well. Beautiful. But you see that sort of earth, she even has, I think, horns, yeah. So we definitely see that earth, fae kind of energy there. This is probably my least favorite card in the deck, just in terms of, I'm not a huge fan of male horned, like pans and that type of thing. There's another word I'm trying to think of that's not coming out. It's just personally not a favorite imagery of me. I don't particularly like them in the Messenger Oracle either, but they work in terms of the energy of the Earth suit. I like the structure of the window. The 4 is about structure and stability, and so we do have that window casement and that idea of structure. But the way his arms are, you can, if it's in shadow, you can get that idea of also being hemmed in. But I quite like that. It's just probably my least favorite just in terms of imagery. Here we have the 5 of Earth, which has cards here. Seems to be, 5s are disruptive numbers, disrupting stability. We have somebody looking kind of sad over here. Let me go to the guidebook. I should have had it in place and ready to go. Easy options, easy money, deception, unnecessary risks. So that is stability, financial stability, unbalanced. So I think that works as well. So you kind of get that gambler feel. You get the, trying to go, maybe even stealing the riches, kind of going at things. And I like just the wordage here for potential blockage. There is a wee devil within all of us who whispers that we are acting for the greater good or not at fault where others are concerned. I just love the wee devil within us all. So there we have, again, the number 5 is a disruptive number, and so we should see that reflected. Here we have the 6 of Earth, and we have responsibility, duty. I love the sickle here. We have the key in the lock. We have almost bearing the, it's on his, shackled to him, almost like the, what's that called? You put them on oxes normally. But there is that sense of, for this one, is duty to family and our environment or responsibilities. Then we have the 7, which the number 7 is much more of a spiritual number. And this is about meditation, grounding, connections. Beautiful imagery there with, you can see the chakras, you can see the seasons. I think this is really gorgeous. And I like that the 7 is connected to that type of number. And then we have the 8th here, which is about growth and manifestation. Looks like that to me. Beautiful. This is very people drawn, almost like the Tarot of the Hidden Realms, in that you get a lot of portraits, like seeing either of the person kind of up close and filling the whole card, more so than, pulled back scenes. I didn't think I would like that in Tarot of the Hidden Realms, but I actually do, and I actually find the looking outward of Tarot of the Hidden Realm people really is and confrontational in a way that says, I have a message for you, hear my message. It kind of forces you to not look away in a way that I find that I think this one will also be. Look at how beautiful. The 9 of Earth, altruism, generosity, charity, giving, receiving, selflessness. How beautiful is that? So again, very much taking the core understanding of the numbers, of numerology, and attaching those to the elements. So what would that look like when you attach those numbers to, I'm trying to find here my one guide that I use. That's on my, if you look up my Marseille, there is a page that goes over some basic numerology, you know, with the 9s being a combination of dynamic processes, expressing complexity, variety of possibilities, a strive to perfection. 10s being the totality, completion, the culmination that we have here. So this is synthesis, harmony, highest ideals. Very gorgeous sense of abundance there for the 10 of Earth. And then we get into what we already saw, absolutely stunning Heaven and Earth card. The Seneschal there. I love the loyalty that we see with the dog, the keys to the household, the third eye, but also the, here we also have the eye of intellect and thought that's being put into place. Really beautiful card. And then we have the Queen of Earth with the, looks like a buffalo here, which is gorgeous. And of course the stag for the King of Earth. I just think those are stunning. Stunning, 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 which we already looked at. So here we have, that brings us to the air, which of course is my favorite suit. And here we have the Ace of Air, of course. I love this Two of Air. Look at this. Duality, polarity, separation, unity, dichotomy, integration, choice. The big picture. I love that we see the scales there. I love the light points where the hands come together. We have the wings here. I think it's gorgeous. Love this 3. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the 3 of Swords. However, I love this because the 3 is about, number 3 is about growth, and this is about studying and growing and learning, right? The owl here, but we do have the skull here, which kind of gives me a little nod to that sense of loss here. I love one of the key phrases is don't kill the messenger. I think that's a wonderful card. Definitely not traditional, but this is not a Rider-Waite-Smith, and I really love, I think I zoomed out farther than what I was before, but I don't know. It's not going to flow very well, is it? I love this. I had to look this up, but I love it. The 4 of Swords, this is about ordering your environment, giving your day structure, and you can see that kind of structure going on. I love his glasses that we see here. Quite awesome. Love this as well. So this is discord, but this is the suit of air. So we have discord, internal conflict, right? That she talks about the conflict between what is real and what is believed. It addresses the need for honesty and the courage to let go of a self-deception that is being held on to in order to hide and protect from a painful reality. I think that's really powerful. I've never really jived overly well with the 5 of Swords. I get it, but it's not been one of my favorite of the swords. This I love. Now, the 6 of Swords, I love traditionally. The Rider-Waite-Smith 6 of Swords, I love the ship going away. I love the message of it, but I really like this as well. It represents a solution born of compromise that lies somewhere between. So here we have the black and the white, but the color is in between. And so it talks about it's somewhere between black and white, either or choices that are often seen as the only options available. I love that. I think that's really, it's finding the middle road for me, which is an important message for me. And so, and one that really resonated with me, the middle path with Buddhism. And so that, I love that that card is in place and its meanings that really resonate strongly with myself. Then we have the Seven of Air. So this would be traditionally the Seven of Swords, which I had to really wrap my heads around because my one head I had to wrap around. And I came to terms with it, and I can work within the Rider-Waite-Smith construct, but it never really resonated with me. For me, the number 7 is about spirituality because of the way that I was raised. Numerology is actually very strongly in the Bible, and it was something I was always fascinated with. Even as a Christian, because I think of that esoteric nature really spoke to me. But the 7 for me is that number of completion, actually, but in terms of a spiritual sense. So I love that the 7 of Air is about spirituality, religion, politics, personal dogma, fundamentalism, indoctrination, and then kindness. But it's the realm of spiritual belief, religious practice, and personal dogma, and the influence that they have upon how we perceive the world around us. So it talks about how spiritual belief can make us more complete, but it can also do other things like start wars and put us at odds with each other. That's really powerful. I quite like that is there, because if you think about thought and religion, how that dogma and that thing can play a role, I think that's going to be a very powerful card to come up. I love this 8 of Air, which would be the 8 of Swords. Again, very different. This is not Rider-Waite-Smith, but this is about the ego, truth, power, responsibility, consequences, cause and effect, lessons learned, and memory are the key words. Yeah, this I'm going to be definitely enjoying to work with. I love imagery-wise the sword here that is piercing. We have the chains here. We are creatures driven by our egos. Our ego is in part our identity, the center of our consciousness. It is driven by our instincts and base desires and constrained by culture and society. It can have us feeling confident and certain, or it can have us feeling uncertain and afraid. Very interesting. I'm excited to work with the differences in the air suit. As we also see with the 9 of Swords, which is often the nightmare card. But the 9 of Swords isn't just about nightmares. It's about how our mind has the power to construct things. And this is about imagination. It's about universal consciousness, self-awareness, understanding, fantasy, that idea. So you can see in her head this kind of entire world within her head, that we can be creating these worlds mentally that are restraining and restrictive and puts us in a state of fear, or one that gives us and galvanizes us towards the 10, which, right, is a sense of completion, and for this suit, self-actualization. I'm not a huge fan of all of the angel wings in this deck, because I don't technically I don't work a lot with angel energy, and there are a lot of angel wings. So, you know, my idea of self-actualization isn't, you know, becoming an angel or anything like that. But you still get that sense of individuation here, becoming your whole self, that this 10 of Swords or the sword suit should actually culminate in, not a dead person on the ground with blood all over the ground. So I really, I find it quite interesting. Is it changed? Yes. Does it work with my understanding of numerology and the element? Yes. So I'm quite excited to work with these changes. And then, of course, we have the body and the mind, which we talked about, the scribe, the Queen, which is stunning, and the King, which is stunning. So that brings us to the suit of fire. And so this is the very active and transformative suit. And you can just see it. The fire is everywhere. It is quite obvious. Here we have the 2 of Fire, which is teamwork, mentorship, partnerships, aligning yourself with another who shares your goals and visions in order to make an idea a reality. This one, when I saw this, I thought, well, that's kind of strange for the 2 of Wands, but it's that idea of aligning energies, aligning yourself with somebody. I think you can read that in multiple ways. The 3, I love this because I do really like the idea of the 3 of Wands is going off on a journey. I love the air balloon that is in the I'm not going to be able to find it, so I'm not going to look. But in the Jeopardia, which I'm slaughtering the name every time I say it, the Three of Wands is a air balloon going off on a journey, and I love that. I've been using this deck a lot, and I quite love that. Of course, no. Can I find it? No. But yeah, so I really like that idea of this is exploration, action. Or, you know, it's time to, if you have a venture that you want to, do it. It's what we have to sacrifice things and leave things behind sometimes to make that choice and go towards something. I really like that. I love that. Look at the Four of Fire. Action, concentration, focused energy. I like this much more than just, you know, 4 girls celebrating on the shore. I love this because it's an active, manifesting energy. Look at the Hawk over. I really like that card. Here we have, again, 5s are disruptives. This is competition, aggression, rivalry. We have that fire energy. His fist is raised. We have that sense of discord that you can clearly see. Definitely very Fabio romance novel male figures here, but that's the same as true with the female figures, and you know that's sort of a almost a given here with decks, but still, you can definitely see that energy of competition there. This is a beautiful, I love this with the crossed swords here. This is the 6 of Fire. Healing, meditation, negotiation, arbitration, calling a truce. It's a time of healing through meditation, negotiation, or arbitration. It is a time when communication and diplomacy is required in order to end a conflict or a dispute. Because we have conflict and dispute going on, and now we need to arbitrate that dispute and bring an end to it. I love that progression that we see there. Love her. Look at how beautiful she is. This is the 7 of Fire. Divination, signs, heating intuition, looking within, which I love with the water here and the lotus. The development and use of one's intuition to see the way forward. I love that. That's gorgeous. Then we have the 8 of Fire here. Action, change, transfer. You get the idea of the phoenix here, right? Transformation through action, because this is the suit of fire. Gorgeous. Here we have the 9. I actually like him. I'm not always... there's one in the Messenger Oracle that's a male that I don't really quite like. I really like the look of him, though. The 9 of Fire, attainment, fruition, inspiration, creation, ease. This is the symbolizes attainment and the ease of that comes with knowing what to do with the knowledge. It almost has that sun feel with the red hair. It's the fire energy. It gives in the sun here. It gives that sense of that, because for me the sun card is really about that that happiness that comes with really knowing you're mastering your knowledge and how to actually put that out there in a transformative way. And this sort of encapsulates that, I think, really beautifully. Love, look at that 10. Very chakras here, self-mastery, complete mastery here, light work, light being. This is a mastery, not just of skill or craft, but of oneself. The chakras all in alignment. Yeah, that's really powerful. And then we have the masculine feminine, which we talked about in the court. The beautiful hero, which I feel I love because it could be male or female. The Queen of Fire and the King of Fire with the lion there. Really gorgeous, but you saw those. Which brings us to the water element. I love this watery dragon with the Celtic heart here. 2 being so gorgeous, right? That is, oops, let me get here in case there's something I want to look up. I'm trying to kind of stay, but it's that 2 of Cups, that connection, the relationship card is quite gorgeous. the 3. I really like the 3s in this deck, I have to say, because it really speaks to that growth. This is satisfaction, pleasure, joy, hopefulness, because, you know, you've got the 2, you know, that sort of relationship, but this is that satisfaction that I just think it's gorgeous. I really like it. Represents satisfaction and indicates that you have come to a time to rejoice in life and your success. She stands tall and confident with arms raised in victorious celebration. Really beautiful. Look at the mirror here for the 4. Confidence, awareness, self-acceptance, forgiving, self-belief, deserving receptive consequences. The 4 of water stands before you with quiet confidence and awareness. Despite his scarred appearance, he has scars on his face. He sees only beauty when he looks at his reflection. A gentle smile curves his lips as he regards himself with kindness and understanding. That's beautiful. He has many weaknesses and during his lifetime has made many mistakes, and yet he chooses to see the lessons he has learned and forgive himself instead of holding on to feelings of shame, regret, and guilt. Every scar makes him beautiful, and every mistake presents him the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become wiser. Because this is about emotions, right? And the number 4 is a stabilizing of those emotions, a coming to grips, a structuring of those in a way in which allows you to then move forward. So I quite love that. Look at the beauty. And I love 5 of Cups cards, and this is gorgeous. She's immersed. This is under the water, but we can see that light, like the stained glass that we see. We have the loss here, betrayal, fear, doubt, hopelessness, isolation, self-pity it can get into being, but I think it's absolutely stunning. Here we have the 6 of water. I really like this. This is about concern and compassion and sympathy. And she's like really reaching out of the card and, you know, kind of saying, let me hold your hand. Let me hold space for you. That beautiful concern and compassion. But she says she does so with a level of emotional detachment. It is a healthy aspect of concern and compassion. Beautiful. Here we have the 7 of water, knowing, trust, faith, surrender, surrendering of control, release, peace. It represents letting go and surrendering to the flow of life, and doing so with complete trust and faith. She is about to relinquishing control over all relationships and outcomes and believing that whatever unfolds in the future is what it's meant to be. But it talks about how she does the work. Like, it's not just doing it out of being naive or out of being foolish, but she's done the work on her past. She's done the work that she needs to do in order to heal. And so that is what allows her to be able to let go. I like that delineation in the guidebook. And here he's got kind of, his face makes me laugh, I'm not going to lie. He's kind of got like a cheese ball grin, which is good because this is about gratitude, appreciation, delight, joyfulness. It symbolizes how a positive state of appreciation and gratitude can influence our lives and environment for the better. We have the dolphins, that kind of uplifting spirit there. That's interesting because blockages talks about the idea of keeping up with the Joneses. But yeah, this does kind of make me laugh just with his face. But that's good to have a card about joyfulness and appreciation making you smile, right? This is beautiful. Look at the 9 of water, or I'm sorry, wrong one. I see the 9 of water, or the 10 of water, but with this page, so it makes like, oh, but that's actually the 9 of water. Let me go back here. Illumination, acceptance, openness, emotional enlightenment. The very first thing to be born in the darkness of the void was light. The 9 of water represents a need to embrace an open heart and allow the light of love to transform and heal emotional pain and turn it into knowledge and set us free. How beautiful is that? Then we have the gorgeous 10 of water, universal love, divine connection, centeredness, serenity, peace. Like, how beautiful is that? Emotional completeness, really. I love the moon aspects here, the water, the turtle, the eye and the heart. Gorgeous. Then we get to, again, our court cards, emotion and intellect, the counselor, the Queen of Water, and the King of Water. Very merfolk there. So there we have all 81 cards of the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Let me zoom back out here so we can do a little bit of reading. To see how this ends, see how they shuffle.